bloody thing. Right then everybody, this is my KTM SMC 690R, and today I thought I'd just give you a bit of a walk around the bike and we'll go for a ride and I'll just tell you some stuff about it. It's a 2015 model. I think the best colour scheme you can get. Largely standard. Well, I say that, there's a few mods, but I've not gone crazy. So as you can probably see, the most expensive one of those was the Akrapovic, or Akrapovic, however you say it. Full system, which actually has a lovely bluing effect when it's now that it's done a few, I don't know, 1,000 miles or something. So that's really good. Doesn't have the Evo kit on it, but you know, for performance and things, it's enough. You know, it's a Larry bike. This it's always trying to get on the get a bit of airtime. What I have done is put the baffle back in now, which is might sound a bit soft, that, but genuinely this thing is loud, like really loud, and I didn't want any issues with authorities and trying to keep a good relationship with the neighbours and stuff. Apologies for it being dirty. Yeah, what to do. I try and keep them clean and everything, but I've ridden this a couple of times now this week. This is the third ride of the year, in fact, and all three of them have been this week. So yeah, it's got a gold chain. Doesn't really do much difference, as I'm sure you know, but just thought it looked quite well. The mirrors are an amazing upgrade. I'm glad I did that. Not the neatest of jobs. I could probably just paint these and make it fit in a little better. But the originals were up here, and you know, they were just flapping around. So on the motorway, not that I advise you take this on the motorway, but at those speeds, you know, you can see there's something behind you, but you just don't know what it is. I've also put the sat-nav, the Garmin adapter on. Again, not quite sure why I did that, because I certainly won't be touring on it, but I guess it can come in handy in places like the Trofferbolland, where we'll be heading towards today. You can get lost in there. Good upgrade, sorry, is the disc lock. So that's a road lock, and it's a KTM part as well. I think it's got a laser stencil on there. So there's absolutely no storage space on the bike, so you can't take a disc lock anywhere. However, with this, the little black thing here, which is just currently protecting and stopping ingress of dirt and stuff, there's a little cylindrical adapter that goes in. It's on a spring-loaded plunger, and then it just finds the hole in the disc when you rock the bike, and then it goes through, locks it. So you just have to carry that. I get some weird looks. What else have I done? Crash bobbins, standard, and then the skid plate. Other than that, I think it's pretty original. So other than those 10 modifications, it's standard. So we'll go for a little ride. It's a Sunday today, everyone's out. We'll take it easy, and also hopefully the footage will be good, because the last ride I did on this, I also did a video, and all you can see is the dash. So you've got something to catch up in a minute. Yeah, so I hope this comes out well, because I don't really have the time to keep going redoing things. In terms of the instruments, before we set off, frustratingly, there's no pass light on this bike. So you know, it's quite customary to just give someone a bit of a warning before you overtake them, just startle them and wake them up a bit. So you're reverting to putting the light on and off, which is just something else to think about when you're reaching for and it's not there. No real modes or anything on this, but there is when you start it up, it likes to tell you how long it is. Whether that's just an Austrian thing, I'm not sure, just showing off. Don't think that matters much how long it is, the wheelbase of it. Maybe you can adjust it, don't really know. So before I go, a bit eager there, I'll just give it, so a little bip on the exhaust. I mean, it's hard to gauge these things on a camera, but take it from me, it's loud. Also, I put the airbox mod in last night. Please check out the other video. and what a difference that has made. Not sure in terms of power, but certainly from a noise perspective. Not that this thing needs to be any louder, but it is. Right, let's go for a ride, try and stay on it. Woo. ABS on this bike as well, first one I've ridden with it on, glad it's there. Constantly riding the back brake on this. So yeah, keep an eye on the pads. Oh, yes. I mean, that is bloody loud now. I'm tempted to put the original box back in. Hopefully there'll be no horsies around here, because they'll be very upset when I come past on this. Yeah, let's good thing about these bikes, 690, you can have a lot of fun within the confines of the speed limit, which is always a good thing. Hope they've been spotted. Single disc on the front of this, as you've seen, more than adequate. Not a very heavy bike. Oh, that's just noise now. Might have to put that original airbox on. And these mirrors, I know they don't look like they do much, but I can see very well. You just have to twist your body a little bit, which is unusual, but speaking of which, and I'm really trying to get into this body up, bike down sort of riding style, but it's not for me. I'm not really getting to grips with it, and there's nowhere to grip the bike at the front. You know, there's nowhere to put like stomp grips on it, I don't think. So where you'd be digging your knees into the tank to get your knee down on the other one and just keep yourself locked into the bike, you kind of just funny place to have a camp up. One for the crowd. So all those students will be loving the single cylinder noise that I'm delighting them with today. Giving myself a headache, in fact. Oh, that's it. It's funny, there's nowhere to take stuff like that, like a tip. First time I'm using the media mod on the GoPro as well. GoPro Hero 9, fully recommend getting one. Hopefully it's not too fish-eyed, but it's just try and give everyone a bit more panorama. Tell you what, you're hanging on for dear life on this thing. It's fun, but Jesus. We'll calm down in a minute when I'm tired, and then be able to talk about it more. These are kind of like the perfect roads for it as well. The big sweeping A roads are not really this suited for this, or vice versa. But these little nippy windy ones, gas throttle, gas brake, are pretty good. Now then, while we're stuck behind a Jaguar that's going quite quick round blind corners, little pace setter there, I've got an opportunity to talk to you about the bike more. So you know, I'm not really sure what people want to hear about on these vlogs. But I think if we cover practicality, there is none, so that's nice and easy. Would this make a good first bike? So I've been riding for 10 years, probably lost a little bit recently. I've not been out as much as I used to. Also don't take the risks that I used to as well. But this is very leery, but you know, they go as quick as you ride them, so maybe it would make a good first bike. It's certainly well, comfort, we'll get onto that, but it's a comfortable position at least. You know, big wide bars on it, quite nice. The throttle is very snappy on this model. I think they toned it down for the new one, 2019. But, you know, just filtering through traffic, just gave it a little blip on in first gear, fine. And wheel was straight up, so probably one thing to consider. I think for me this makes a very good second bike option. It's nice to go on it when you want to, not when you have to, I guess. I did ride this as my only bike for a season, and yeah, nice to get back on the blade afterwards. You're very high seat position. Oh, there's one thing I didn't mention, you'll have to move over, son. It is a KTM Power Parts seat, and this, I believe, is supposed to give you more comfort and probably grip, or whatever the marketing boys have come up with. I would hate to have ridden it with the original seat, let's put it that way, because I've only been on it half an hour, my arse is killing me. Might do a little stand up, what do you think, guys? Right, now I've heard enough of that. I wonder what the local constabulary's view is of standing up as you're riding as well. Stretching your legs and preserving yourself versus riding without due care and attention. The gearing of the bike is not great for riding around on the roads. So when you're doing, you can't get in 6th unless you're doing 60, 5th or 50, so that's as much of a gear indicator that you need rather than the one on the dash. It doesn't really like 30 mile an hour. Standoff. MPG, 52 MPG, that's pretty good for a Volvo. I had a Focus RS and that was thirsty. Volvo engine in that. And that's interesting. Community speed concern, just as we rip into a 60 mile an hour zone. Well, why don't you put the speed down then? Oh. That must make an absolute racket going past people with the window down when I'm on full chat. I've lost my train of thought now. I'm trying to stay on this thing. Not sure what's going on, might be a car boot or something. Not sure whether I want to interrupt the vlog to pick up somebody's old second-hand shite. I think we'll pass. What are you doing, mate? It's a 60 mile an hour road. I know you just pulled out, but right when I speed up. Whew. God, I'm knackered. And maybe that's what the engineers at KTM have deliberately done is to make this such an incredible overload of your muscles and your will to live that after 25 minutes you're back in your living room having had a blast of a ride. Keeps the mileage down, because I very rarely tend to do over an hour on this thing. I tell you, it brings out the child in me as well though, so there's a sweet spot when you're about 30. Oh, gearing, that's what I was talking about before. I'll come back onto that then. Edit's coming up. Christ, I've lost my train of thought again. Not getting into this vlogging very well. Ah, children. So, bit of a sweet spot at about 30 where you can just roll on the throttle without really accelerating. You can just blip it. You might gain a mile an hour, but it just it sounds amazing is what it does. And maybe it's quite useful for letting people know you're here. You can't be beeping your horn all the time, so just enough. Keep doing that. I think I'm trying not to complain on this video because it's not what you want to hear, but I think I've had a bit of a love-hate relationship with this bike. I very rarely ride it, which is probably not helping, because if I'd have spent more time getting into it and getting used to it and hardening all of the tissue of the rear of my arse in preparation for the next ride, then maybe I'd enjoy it more. But I think we didn't get off to a great start because I bought the bike from Kent and I'm based up north-ish, Lancashire, and it was a long day that. I drove my brother's car down with him as a passenger to Kent. I bought the bike. I'd then arranged to collect the exhaust that's on it now, which was in Bristol, so I rode over to Bristol and I got a cracking deal on that, brand new, and I paid £700 for it. It's nearly, what, 40% discount there. I think the guy had bought the exhaust for the bike and then crashed the bike, so but yeah, that must have been well over 10 hours in the saddle, and it kind of just, I didn't want to ride it again after that. Certainly not a bike you want to go on any long distance on. But like I said, it makes a really good second bike if you don't want to get out on a super bike and head up to or wherever your local bike meet is. You know, you can just have an hour on this and it's enough. Feel like you've enjoyed a ride and put it back and forget about it again. Look at these lads here. Right, I'm going to try and go up the inside because I'm a naughty boy. Sorry. So the clutch on this bike takes a mineral oil rather than brake fluid, which I don't know what the benefits are of that with the Magura clutch. We'll go with that. Nice to get a wave back. Let's see, can't win them all. So yeah, it takes an oil in the clutch. Not sure why, but it's a very light clutch, which is nice. I'm just looking at the classics out. Very good. Yeah, very, very light clutch. You can use it all day, no problem. I'm a three-finger sort of fella, so to speak. But yeah, very light, very enjoyable, no problem. And I think I have found myself using this bike actually just to nip into town, just cutting around traffic and that, and jumping on the curb, parking and all that good stuff. It's a bit dodgy, I nearly ended up in a three-way here. Not the fun kind. Oh. Oh yes. I've been a bit forgetful with the indicators today, which is never a good thing. I mean, I've got no issue with farmers, we all have to eat. But I do feel like the oh, that's where I wanted to go as well. The roads have stayed the same and the woohoo! Roads have stayed the same and the cars have just got bigger and bigger. So I wonder what it's going to be like in another 40 years. My understanding on these bikes is that you're supposed to kind of ride them sat on the tank. Well, not in this case because the tank's at the back, but that sort of thing, you know, weight forward and everything. For me, I end up slithering further and further back just to get a bit of respite. Just lean forward a bit. Well, trying to get the front wheel up for the crowd there, but not having it. I think I'm going to have an Italian though. Right then. What's this about? Oh, in for a small one. Now I'm going to interrupt this vlog to get some lunch. I'm starving. Hi everybody, so I've just come back from the ride on the KTM, showered off and that, and then just started to review the footage, and turns out I've forgotten to switch the GoPro on after leaving the cafe. So this channel is becoming a bit of a comedy of errors, and I'll get onto that in a second because I've got all sorts of things that I've done wrong. But yeah, what I'll do, I'll go out another time and I'll try and kind of pick up on some of the points I was talking about. Hope you enjoyed what you saw, and that I've not just rambled on about all sorts of rubbish. Please let us know if there's any other things that you want me to cover as part of these videos. I'm quite enjoying doing it and sharing this with people. So yeah, let us know if there's anything you want a particular video of. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you do like what you've watched, please subscribe. I'm sure that'll help me out in the long run, and you'll get the alerts as well.